Hi and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne from SwimCycleRunning.com. Well, this week's log, and it's been a long time, sorry since I've been here, I've been in America and I've been quite busy, was prompted by the county championships in Hertfordshire for swimming. I'm head coach at Hartsmith Flyers, and looking at all the swimmers, it was obvious that something's going wrong. Not one club had starts and turns down to a T, as we're meant to be teaching it effectively. And that was exactly the same last year at the Middlesex County Championships when I was coaching with Harrow. So it sets you thinking as a coach. If we're not getting our charges to do what we actually want them to do, then are we actually teaching them the right thing or the wrong thing? And one thing strikes me as obvious, that if what we're trying to teach them is impossible, then perhaps we should be changing our core structure of our teaching. So instead of teaching them to do the impossible, we should teach them to do what's most practical and acceptable to get them to be the fastest they possibly can. I'm going to go to the computer and show you what I mean by that with a few example videos, and after that I'll come back and we'll discuss it a little more. So we're looking here at two swimmers, and the idea is to look at their potential for streamlining underwater. So let's first look at Josh as he comes through. Now if we stop this, you can see the shape of his back here, and he's trying as hard as he can to get into the streamlined position, and you can see that quite clearly, but his body's remaining in that sort of shape, and that's not a very streamlined shape. And let's now clear that and compare him to the next swimmer. Now here we see the more traditional straight, really streamlined position. You can see the body is absolutely straight. There's no curve in the back, and so Tommy here can drive himself forward underwater well, but Josh can't necessarily. Okay, so this time we're going to take a look at Josh coming into a turn, and hits the turn and comes off. Now again, look at his back. We've got a complete curve going up and down and up. We're actually heading off in that direction, which is downwards, and we're presenting the chest to the water as a barrier, effectively creating resistance. Let's have a look at Tom here again. So they're both a similar standard swimmer, but here we go on the turn, bang, and we can already see that the back is so much straighter with Tommy than it was with Josh. We can see it, although we don't want that particular line, we want that one. Yes, we have a slight curve, but the actual back itself, if you look at that, is completely straight. We've just got these arms coming down slightly. We just need to straighten those out. We've not got the resistance that we had with Josh. We're not heading down into the water, and we're not creating resistance on the chest half as much as we are. We're actually allowing water to flow right over the body and round the body there, which is much more streamlined and much more likely to be able to say to Tommy, right now Tommy, head off in this direction please, and let's get 15 metres underwater with really good fly kicks. With Josh there's very little chance of being able to do that. Okay, so let's take one more look at this time doing backstroke and see what happens. I will stop there as Josh hits the wall. Now you can see the position he's had to take. His back's bending, and that never comes into straight. And we've clearly got this bend down and bend up, and that is just creating excess drag in that direction. You can see he's not able to head in one direction because his body is doing that. Let's have a look at Tommy. Just run that forward a touch. Tommy coming in. I'll stop that as he goes onto the wall. Now apart from having his feet slightly high there, so he's going to head off in a sort of downward direction, look at the difference in body position here. We actually have a completely straight body, or virtually straight body, and Tommy then can drive along and really propel himself forward. And there was a difference in speed between one and the other. And that's what we're looking at, not trying to force someone to do something perhaps that they absolutely can't do. Okay, so there you have it. If we try and get Josh to do what we try and get Tommy to do, which should be drive underwater and get as far underwater as he can with a beautiful fly kick and a really strong freestyle kick or backstroke kick, then we're asking him effectively to fail, because he cannot possibly do that with the shape of his bag. Now, if we were in a high-class team or a national team, then we potentially could have the physios and the backup structure to be able to correct that back problem of curvature that Josh has in his lower back. But whilst he has that curvature, effectively by saying, all right, now we want you to kick, get 8, 10, 15 metres off the wall, is actually asking him to do the impossible. And by asking him to do the impossible, we're actually asking him to fail. And that isn't fair on the athlete. And as a coach, I think all coaches should be thinking of making sure we get success and not failure. In Josh's case, the answer to me is get him to the surface at his fastest swimming speed. And that might be after only 3 to 5 metres. So long as it's at his fastest swimming speed, we might be swimming longer, but we won't have to pick up the speed with his arms and we won't be slowing him down. And I think we need to do that as swimming and triathlon coaches in all the sports. Don't ask someone to be a 4-foot runner who's naturally a heel runner. Don't ask someone to climb hills absolutely flat out if they've got excess body fat, because it's just going to be impossible for them to generate that type of power up a hill. They might be able to do it on the flat, they're not going to be able to do it uphill. So it's horses for courses, specificity if you like. Get your athletes, your clients to do what they can do really well. Yeah, work on their weaknesses if you can, but in the case of Josh with that back, there's nothing we can do apart from send him to physio to try and correct the problem. And if that's not an option, then asking him to do the impossible shouldn't be an option either. Okay, something to think about. Enjoy this week. Next week we're heading towards the bank holiday and Easter. Let's hope it's a wonderful time. It's certainly getting a bit sunnier and a bit warmer. Get out there, enjoy your training. Keep well. Bye-bye.